Unfortunately, DJI is in the process of getting banned, or should I say was in the process of getting banned, because today I actually have some good news for you. What I'm about to show you is all possible because of all the drone pilots out there that have been making their voices known and pushing back against the ban. So check this out. If you visit this website that you see here, the United States Senate Committee on Armed Services, you'll be able to see that pretty much recently the manager's package for the fiscal year 2025 National Defense Authorization Act was recently filed by Jack Reed, who is the chairman senator alongside the ranking member senator Roger Wicker. And this package that was filed contains about 93 amendments, and if you click on the different pages right here, you'll see the file. It will load up like this amendment file, and this page all in all has about 856 pages right there. But if you go and summarize it and look at the amendments that are included, you'll notice that right here we actually don't have the 3098 package that was filed by Senator Rick Scott to the 2025 NDAA that called for adding the CCP Drones Act to the bill. And just to give you context about this CCP Drones Act, you can see here, if you visit the congress.gov site right here, you'll be able to read what it is. And put simply, you can see that this bill requires the inclusion of telecommunication and video surveillance equipment or services produced or provided by DJI Technologies on a list of communication equipment or services determined by the Federal Communications Commission (FCC) to pose an unacceptable risk to US national security. And that is the reason why they are trying to put it on the NDAA. NDAA just means National Defense Authorization Act. Put simply, this is a large funding bill that gets passed every year to allocate the defense budget and establish defense policies. And this is a large funding bill that gets passed every year to allocate the defense budget and establish defense policies in the US. NDAA just means National Defense Authorization Act, and it's basically just a large funding bill that gets passed every year to allocate the defense budget and establish defense policies. So if you're a company such as DJI and your products or services are actually passed in the National Defense Authorization Act that you pose a national security threat to the public or to government, then definitely you are in hot waters. But how glad we are that the Senate File Manager package doesn't include this bill to basically include it. So this Countering CCP Drones Act was introduced a while back, actually in 2023 right there, and you can see who introduced it right there, Stephanie Ellis. And what happens is, in the US, before a bill becomes law, it has to get passed both in the House and Senate, and then once that passed, it goes on to the president to sign to become law. So you can see it actually passed the House, and it passed by a majority actually. So the way the voting went, you can see that this CCP Drones Act passed the House with a vote of 217 to 119, and the bill was largely like a Republican initiative with only 6 Democrats voting for it. So that's why it got the major votes in the House, and then it was able to pass. But then that was in the House. So just like I mentioned, both the House and the Senate need to vote for it to be able to pass. So in the Senate, you can see that the Democrats hold a narrow majority, and they have 51 votes out of 100. So very narrow gap or lead that the Democrats have. And if the bill is voted strictly on party lines, then there's a slim chance that it may not pass. But how glad we are that in the manager's package for the fiscal year 2025 National Defense Authorization, it doesn't actually include that. So it's basically the House is saying, okay, we've passed it and we want it to go to the next stage. But then for the Senate, you can see they've actually not included it in the 93 amendments, meaning that, okay, the House agrees to ban or to include this bill to the National Defense Authorization Act for the next year, fiscal year 2025. But then the Senate is saying, okay, this is actually not something that we are going to include. And this is all thanks to the drone pilots out there and the different users and, people that are giving their feedback and making their voices heard. This is what change is. And basically, I like to see the drone market prosper. And I feel like DJI isn't monopolizing the drone market. They are just simply, I think, one of the best drone manufacturers out there right now. They make good products and at a very good price, and it will be pretty sad to see them getting banned in the US. I'm in Canada, and mostly whatever the US does eventually trickles down to the US because we have so much trade and business that goes on together. So if this was to get passed in the House and Senate and then goes to the president and he signs it and becomes bill, that would mean, you won't be able to buy new DJI drones. From what I've researched and found, it won't affect the existing product. So if you have your DJI drones that you already bought, if this becomes law, then it wasn't going to affect that. But from the looks of it, we might not reach to that stage since the Senate didn't include it in their package for the amendments proposals for the 2025 NDAA, which is the National Defense Authorization Act. So it's pretty good feedback. And at the same time, DJI has been around, if I'm not mistaken, for like 12 or 13 years. And I would like to see more players in the drone market, just like what Hover is doing and some other smaller North American companies are doing. That's something that's good to see. And I would like to see the North American companies prosper and give competition and challenge to DJI, but at the same time, it should be done on fair grounds and fair practices. We don't want to ban a product so that we can then control the market in a way, but this is just a quick positive update for you. But like I mentioned, it's not yet over. If you want to make your voice known or if you want to find out what you can do, there's the Drone Alliance site here that I'll leave in the description of this video, where you can basically oppose the CCP Drones Act on social media and calls. And you can, if you are using your drones for agriculture or other purposes, you can get make your voice known, and at the same time you can oppose the Countering CCP Drones Act. And there's different tools and sites that you can use to be able to identify your senators and House representatives so that you can count or contact them or even write on their social media platforms. So I'll leave this too in the description. And at the same time, if you're trying to find your senators, you'll be able to do that so that you can make your voice known. And that's just a quick update on this DJI drone ban situation that we are seeing transpire over a couple of months actually. So if you found this informative in a way, hit the like and subscribe. And at the same time, I'm going to be leaving these links to these articles that I was able to reference in the description of this video. And my name is Ben. I'm signing out. Peace.